Yeah, thanks for calling. I've been reading some things from Rabbi Memron, where he's talking about
Uh-huh.
the power of meditation. I've been through this first part of his book, several times, and anyway, he's talking about the power of the vibrations, like how the world. But it's very interesting. Anyway, now over here, and what's been going on here, and maybe what we could do here to just speed us along is start on page Lamed Zayin, just read the top. And then I'm going to jump in and I'm going to see if I can find my way down to the Shefa. I think I'll try to do that. So he said, so as he's boya hatam lama ana osim purim b'kol shana v'shana. So the thing we're concerned about. This happened 2,600 years ago, or how many years ago it is exactly, I don't know. But at any rate, around that amount of time, that's when it happened. But what about now? So he said, but every year we have a Purim. Lo hispik lasos bezmana hu levado. So it's not enough that should do just this 1 year by itself. Hatam hu ki Hashem yisbarach barachmov. Ratza she'osa ha'arach amis chadeshes b'chiyos ha'mochim da'aba v'ima b'tocha nekeva. That all of the mochim are in there. And we have the, what we call the disclaimer here on the fact that, it's an aspect of Abba. That's what it seems like to me. Bismana dormit zeranpin, when zeranpin goes to sleep, lo this bata la'olam, because shana v'shana should never be nullified. B'yom mechem atzman in those days. Says hine achar dormita, so after dormita, chozim panim v'panim. He's explaining what the problem is. The dormita leads to the growth of the nook. She's able to be strong enough to be able to come, as the mochim of Abba V'Ima now come into her. She's built up and comes around to the front. Now she's panim b'panim v'hamamochim heim b'zan, and the mochim leave her. She's already built, and they go back into Zah. He says Oz, so he says Oz, Did I get that right? Ve'ein, okay, ve'ein. So he explains that here it goes back, the Yesod of Abba goes back inside of Zeranpin, and the Yesod of Abba stops at the Yesod of Zeranpin. It doesn't go out through Yesod. So it's really completely and totally wiped out. So he said, so what does Hashem want? That every day during Purim, and like that, even if Zun can be face to face, Tiskala, there will be anyway a revelation or revealing of the Ha'arach and Niskeres B'yamim Batel. It'll still happen. So the Inyan is like this. He says, Ki b'kol shana b'yamim, so every year in these days, Kasher Yekanzach and B'mochem Barachol B'so Dormita the Zeranpin. So now the Mochem go into Zeranpin, leave Zeranpin, go into Rachel. Afal Pi Sha'achar Kach Yachzu Panim B'Panim. Now here's the whole thing. So we really have to track this. Even though after that they go back Panim B'Panim, and there is no backside of the nook that the light could come out from. Lotis Bata La'arach and Niskeret, but still the light keeps shining anyway. So it's going to be there, it's going to last, and it's going to be, I guess it means permanent, built into it. So then after this is even after they're panim b'panim, that the mochim are back inside as their anpin again. This is the secret of what the pasuk says, v'zachron lo yasuv bazara. And their remembrance will not be eliminated or made an end to from their seed. So he said, what is this talking about? This is talking about that no matter what position that Zohar and Nook are into, which I think is a question altogether about, well, what time of the year or what time is exactly the Zohar and Nook together? When are they face to face? We know that he said that in the davening, in davening, we go through that when we say Ava, that part of the davening. You get into a situation where they're going to go panim b'panim, and you're going to get mochin negadas, all of that stuff. He says osa ha'ara, because the light he ataras yisod the zachar the Abba Hanikra Zachar Kanoida. So he's really just darshaning that pasuk. The Zachram or Zichram, Zeh, when you use that word, Lo Yosef, Lo Yasuf Mizaram b'Merapurim, shall call Shana v'Shana Kanizkar, that this shall not come to an end in any years. And we'll see the Shefa here. Now I just went through that a little bit fast there. There's a lot more to be said, but like I kind of said already. So we're going to go to number Lamed Gimel on page Lamed Hey. Okay, so let's go over there and let's see what he says, and we'll try to get into. I think it's on it's on the next one that you hear. I have some information that I need to know. Vayinyan hu ki b'kol shana b'yomim ahem kasher yukansel ha'mavucha b'rochel b'soda dormita d'zeranpen. Afal pi sha'achar kach yachser panav v'panav, and even though we know after that they're going to go back to face, and they're going to ultimately lead to a tremendous light. Lotis basval ha'arach and niskeres, but the light of Mordechai, which is the Torah's Yesod of Zeranpen, it doesn't stop. So if it is sham kayamet v'nershamas, so it's built in there. Avgam acher histalkos hamochim ha'ele v'bene v'yachse v'zeranpen, even in this stage where they're now panim b'panim, and there's no need for that, or it doesn't anatomically, it doesn't work. He says Harav Kosov Khan, the Rav writes here, the Hanes hu sha'af acher sheyachser b'panim, that the nace came out, that after they came panim b'panim, and the mochin come back to Zeranpen, nishar l'hoyer b'cha aris yisod abba, keep shining. Now I'm trying to picture this, and I'm thinking, well, she's facing him. Just imagine, the two male and female, not facing each other, but where is she? She's no longer ach ba'ach, and she's around the front. Amnam there's another miracle in here. So that's what we're getting at here. He says there's only a very short amount of time in the 24-hour days when the Nook is actually panim b'panim, and that's when we're saying Shmona Esrei. But after the tefillah, they go back. Amna b'Purim, Nisha Eres and Nook, but he says that in Purim what happens is Nisha Eres, the female, the Rachel, remains Kol Chayom b'panim b'panim. So this is what happens in Purim. So she's not panim b'panim. V'lo od elishi yisod abba meir b'cha begilu. But not only that, now this phrase here, I'm not quite sure how I picture this. He says the yisod of Abba is still there, shining in Gilui, meir bo, into her, begilui, kenizker. Came near to the chayra, this is what it looks like to me. So he says that through the mitzvahs, there's a hamshacha of the ha'aras hamochim every single day. But it's possible to say that's only ha'ara of the mochim. Avelo mamash amidus panim b'panim keshabas v'yesh lamer lanu od. So let me just see what he said over here. It got a little bit mixed up. He said, "The al yidecha mitzvos mamshichem ha'aras hamochin lekol hayom." That through the mitzvos we cause the mochin to come through the whole day. Aval ef shalom. So I'm not sure. I got to go backwards. I still really get it. Let's go back one more page. Try if I could find the string that I'm missing here. Amna b'Purim. That's at the bottom of the left column on the first page. So let me get that over here. Amnam b'Purim nishaeres hanok kol hayom panim b'panim. She remains on the day of Purim panim b'panim. Up to this point, I'm okay. Lo olel yisod abba meir begilu. It's a little hard to understand how he shines into her, or for her, or with her in Gilui Kenizkar. Came near the Charich Mahada Kosa, so it also could be understood from this pasuk. Mahada Kosa the al yidei mitzvos mamshichem aras hamochem the kol hayom, so that through the mitzvos, and he doesn't say the mitzvos of Purim, he just says the mitzvos, it could cause light to come down the whole day long. Not just like in Purim. He wants to say this. We see this in Purim. Is a Purim that she's panim b'panim the whole time. But it's also possible to say The zechu rak ha'aras hamochin. It's only what's the difference between the aras hamochin and the mochin themselves. It's a secondary light. But this going together, or they're together, panim, it's not the same kind of panim that we have on Shabbos. Okay, not sure about all of that, so let's go on. Number Lamadalad. He said, so here he has something that maybe I need to learn here. He says, Kasav Hashem and Sasa, this is what he writes, Shana Nimsa. She says, Bekal Shana, Na'aseh Binyan Ach Ba'ach. So every year, there is a construction that goes Ach Ba'ach. Then there's after that, there's a Nesira, for Chazaras Panim B'Panim, B'Tefillas Purim. And so this is just Panim B'Panim, B'Tefillas Purim, with the davening we do on Purim. This is referring to the Zun HaKolalim Dekol Lashana, that the entire Zun of the whole year. That's the Zun. This is called the yearly Zun. Now let me read what his words are again. He says, Nimsa de Bekol Shana, Na'aseh Binyan Ach Ba'ach, V'Nesira V'Chazaras Panim B'Panim B'Tefillas Purim. So this whole process, during the davening of Purim, he says the Tefillas of Purim. This whole process by which we go through the Nesira and eventually Chazaras Panim B'Panim, that all takes place in the Tefillas of Purim. B'Zuna Kolonim Dekol Shana. There is an aspect of Zun which you call the Zuna Kolonim of the year, to call Shana, to hold the Shana. It's a Zun for the whole Shana. There's a preparation somehow, like we saw in the Yichud of Kad Shaus. It takes place over a course of 3 years. Now he's not going into 3 days. I meant. It's not going into specificity exactly, but he says v'nesira v'zar v'pana b'tefilas purim b'zun hakolim dekol shana. So this is a zun that this process takes place right here at Purim, at Kan L'Shana. V'letosefes beer. So let me explain a little bit more. He says na'atek masha kasav Hashem and sasim b'makom acher. He writes this in another place in the Sharashin Tefilos. He says v'zel l'shana. There were 2 different things that have a tikkun taking place. There's the concept of an aspect of the days, which is that there's 6 days of the week, and then you had Shabbos at 7, so it's something different. So he calls him a melech, the 7 malachim of Zun. There's going to be a tikkun takes place. There was a shvira in the malachim, and the malach which is called chesed. So he mizayin malchim the chesed v'hem rishon ku chesed. The first one is going to be chesed. V'hu biruch v'tikun zayin malachim. And so this is the concept of the birur and the tikkun for the zayin malachim who broke. That takes place every single day. Today is Wednesday, so Wednesday is what? Wednesday is Netzach. B'bechinas nai v'chagat dachagat, which is the aspect of the nai. Now listen to this. Let me just go through this again. He said again, we have still a little bit of time. He says, Yom Rishon hu chesed, hu bir v'tikun zayin malachim. So that's what this is about. But this becomes the bechinas of the nai v'chagat dachagat. Now he's saying like this, like the Rishash does. He talks about where's Chagat. So Chagat is it's the complete Nai Chagat, but of Chagat. Chagat has a Chagat Nai, and this is the Chagat, the Nai v'Chagat, the Chagat. So this is the Vok of Chagat. V'yesh od b'china cheres and nikras b'chinas azmanim. Now, so he says that's what takes place every day, and throughout the year, and it says that this is called b'chinas azmanim. No, I said that wrong. It's the Nai of the Chagat. That's what we do every day. They said there's another Bechina, which is called Bechinas Azmanim. Who Bira V'tikun Zayim Malachim, also the same thing. Bechinas Nai V'Chagat. So there you're going down on a lower level. You're going out of the Nai Chagat of the Nai, which he says, it's just saying like this, that the Chagat is a Partzuf by itself and is a Chagat Nai, and we're only focusing on the lower part of it, the Zat of it, or the Vak of it. So he said, now you're there. Zman tikunim hu bebechinas zmanim. So the time when they get a tikkun, that's the seven malachim get a tikkun, is, and he must have to break this down somewhere, Kanizka Bazar, like it's mentioned in Zohar and the Tikkuni Zohar, Pesach Deroa Yamina, that the Pesach is the right, it represents the right arm, which is Chesed. So he has to go through all of the seven spheros, and he's going to have to say which ones go with which. It sounds like some of the work of Yaakov Cronenberg, because where he pits the months, because if you go, if the first one is Chesed, that means that the next one is going to be Gevura, which is, I guess, is Taurus. And then I don't know how it works out, how it does. I think maybe Cronenberg has that, but I don't remember it. Exactly how it is that each one of the regalim, each one of the different times has, which Purim is part of it, has to do with this tikkun of the Zmanim. Kanitzka b'drash Rosh Chodesh. So he said, "V'ayim b'zor benar shalom." He said, "V'orach ha'hefer b'nechem." What's the difference between these different holidays, and which parts do they actually make a tikkun in? Behind the chavodas yimei hashana, kula b'shavasas v'mei machols. He says what we're doing, which incorporates all the Shabbos, all the weekdays. Polim and saktim b'partzuf of Yomim. That is a tikkun that takes place in the parts of what we call the Partzuf of Yomim. Kol yom v'yom b'bechina acheres. Every single day is another aspect. B'zayin amidos, of the seven midos. It is it sounds similar to what we see in Sphira. Over avodas yomim. So what we have to do in the daytime of yomim tovim. When we come to holidays, polim b'parts of zmanim. There's an actual tikkun that takes place in a different parts of. Now, parts of means the refraction of light. It means the minimization of light through different spheros. So there are spheros that actually attach in different dimensions. And that's what the word Partzuf means here. This is a Partzuf of Yomim, and then we Partzuf of Zmanim. Called Yom Tov b'bechina acheres. Every Yom Tov is going to have a different tikkun at a different time. U'b'Purim, Polim b'bechinas Netzach. This is a time of Netzach, which I said today happens to be Netzach also. In the Partzuf of the Yomim, and this aspect, this is Netzach. That's the concept that Mordechai breaks through. B'yom HaPurim, b'bechinas dormita, b'nesira, all of that stuff, all of that whole process which takes place, it's telling us, during the time of the year. Milvad masha na'asa b'tefizika yom. So there's also another Partzuf which is moving as the world turns, and it's also coming into perspective at this time as well, which is called a Partzuf of the Zmanim versus the Partzuf of the Yomim. So that's a new idea, or an idea maybe we should have learned way back when. Anyway, thanks for giving me a little extra time. I appreciate it. Call two. What was that? What did you say?
For the next week and a half, it'll just be after the davening.
Wonderful. We'll see you then. Call two.